so happy in Jesus. No language my rapture can tell. I know that the light of His presence with me doth continually dwell. Redeemed, redeemed, redeemed by the blood of the Lamb. Redeemed, redeemed, His child and forever I am. I know there's a crown that is waiting in yonder bright mansion for me, and soon with the saints made perfect, at home with the Lord I shall be. Redeemed, redeemed, redeemed by the blood of the Lamb. Redeemed, redeemed, His child and forever I am. Lord, I want to be a Christian in my heart, in my heart. Lord, I want to be a Christian in my heart, in my heart, in my heart. Lord, I want to be a Christian in my heart. Lord, I want to be more loving in my heart, in my heart. Lord, I want to be more loving in my heart, in my heart, in my heart. Lord, I want to be more loving in my heart. Lord, I want to be more holy in my heart, in my heart. Lord, I want to be more holy in my heart, in my heart, in my heart. is to get occupied. Don't lose hope. There's an answer, my friend. There's a hole in my heart and yours that only Jesus can fill. We can try to patch it up with things, but when they're over, when excitement fades, our emptiness still stays. Why don't we let Jesus in to heal our broken hearts and part us from the sins we're keeping within? He offers peace and joy and everlasting life. He loves you and me unconditionally. He's waiting, knocking at your door. There's a hole in my heart and yours that only Jesus can fill. We can try to patch it up with things, but when they're over, when excitement fades, our emptiness still stays. He's waiting, knocking at your door. He longs to fill your soul. There's a hole in my heart and yours that only Jesus can fill. We can try to patch it up with things, but when they're over, when excitement fades, our emptiness still stays. There's a hole in my heart and yours that only Jesus can fill. We can try to patch it up with things, but when they're over, when excitement fades, our emptiness still stays. When they're over, when excitement fades, our emptiness still stays.
Alright, good morning. Good morning tuloy. Good evening mga minamahal kong mga kaibigan at mga kapatid. Ano po? At muli po ay welcome sa ating pag-aaral ng ating lesson. At napakaganda mga kapatid, no, ng ating pag-aaral ng lesson ngayon. And welcome sa ating programang Get and Go. We get information and we go to share the gospel, to share the message of Jesus Christ sa lahat ng mga kaibigan natin at sa lahat sa buong mundo mga kapatid. And so before we begin, I would like to invite everyone to please pray with me. Tayo po ay manalangin. Amang banal ang tahanan ay nasa mga langit. Sa gabi pong ito, kami po ay muling nagpapasalamat sa inyo sa panibagong pagkakataon na kami po ay nagkaroon ng panahon upang pag-aralan ang iyong banal na kasulatan. At sa amin pong pag-aaral sa gabing ito, dakilang Diyos, makita nawa namin ang mensahe, ang mistakes ng mga nakaraan at kung ano ang mensahe na amin pong matutunan sa panahon ngayon. Amin pong hinihiling ang pamatnubay ng Banal na Espiritu ang aming maranasan sa gabing ito. At ito lamang aming hiling sa inyo sa pangalan ng Panginoong Hesus. Amen. Okay mga kapatid, so muli po, ayan, no? Meron na po tayong dalawang actual viewer ng ating pong programa, Get and Go. Okay po, so meron po tayo sa YouTube channel natin. Ayan, meron pong nanonood dyan at meron din sa Adventist Youth Ministries Department. And good evening sa kay Sister Nanette Easy. Yan, ito po ay talagang masugid na ating taga-subaybay. Ano po? Sa ating pong programa, umaga at gabi, ng ating pag-aaral ng banal na kasulatan. At purihin po natin ang ating Panginoong Diyos sa pagkakataong ito na tayo pong muli ay nandito upang ating mapag-aralan ang lesson number 2 na po tayo mga kapatid, and today is Sunday at ating pong papag-aralan ngayon ang ating lesson. And the title of our lesson for this evening is Restless in the Wilderness. Okay? Restless in the Wilderness. Ang kabuuan ng title ng ating lesson for this week mga kapatid ay Restless and Rebellion. At ngayon po isa-isahin po natin ang ating pag-aaral. Ngayon po mga kapatid ay Restless in the Wilderness. And so let me share to you, okay po, let me share to you the yung ating slide po mga kapatid, ano po? And here's our slides. Okay? So I hope that you will see natin pong slides mga kapatid. Okay, just wait po. Ayan. Okay, so inyo na po bang nakikita? Ayan. So Restless in the Wilderness. Okay po, July 4, Sunday. Basahin po natin mga kapatid. Ito po mismo ang nilalaman ng ating lesson. Ano po? Ang sabi dyan, Israel must have felt, okay po, restless and unhappy when they departed Sinai on their way to Canaan. More than a year had passed since they had left Egypt. Ang sabi sa Numbers chapter 1, verse 1, Now the Lord spoke to Moses in the wilderness of Sinai in the tabernacle of meeting on the first day of the second month in the second year after they had come out of the land of Egypt. Okay, maganda po siguro kung atin pong i-full screen ang ating ano po dito. Okay po, so sa pagpapatuloy mga kapatid ng ating lesson, no, sabi diyan sa yun po ang sinasabi sa Numbers. Actually, yun po ang more than a year had passed, no? Yun ang binasa natin kanina. They were ready to enter the promised land. Okay? According to Numbers chapter 1 verse 1. They had witnessed incredible displays of divine favor and clear signs of God's presence. Okay? Ano pa? Yet their first stop following their departure from Sinai finds them complaining. So puro sila complain mga kapatid, no? Yun po ang nakita sa kanila. Ano po ang sinasabi sa ano? Okay? Ano po ang sinasabi sa Numbers chapter 11 verses 1 to 15? Basahin po natin mga kapatid kasi merong tanong dito. Ang sabi dito, what are the Israelites complaining about? Ito ay mahalaga mga kapatid na matutunan po natin ang lesson sa panahon natin ngayon. Basahin po natin ang Numbers chapter 1 verse 1 to 15. Now the Lord spoke to Moses in the wilderness of Sinai in the tabernacle of meeting on the first day of the second month in the second year after they had come out of the land of Egypt. Okay po, so yun po ang sinasabi sa verse 1. Verse 2, ang sabi dyan, take a census of all congregation of children of Israel by their families, by their fathers' houses, according to the number of names, every male individually. Okay, at sa pagpapatuloy pa, ang sabi po dyan mga kapatid, from 20 years, okay, from 20 years old and above, all who are able to go to war in Israel, you and Aaron shall number them by their armies. And with you there shall be a man from every tribe, each one the head of his father's house. Po. So, tuloy lang po natin mga kapatid ang basa. These are the names. Okay? So, pinangalanan po mga kapatid ang names. These are the names of the men who shall stand with you from Reuben. Okay? From Reuben, Elizur, the son of Shedeur. Ano pa? From Simeon, Shelumiel, the son of Zurishadai. Hirap banggitin mga kapatid. Ano po? From Judah, Nashon, the son of Aminadab. From Issachar, Nethanel, the son of Zuar. From Zebulun, Eliab, the son of Helon. From the sons of Joseph, from Ephraim, Elishama, the son of Amihud. From Manasseh, Gamaliel, the son of Pedazur. From Benjamin, Abidan, the son of Gideoni, or Gideonai. From Dan, Hezer, the son of Amishadai. From Asher, Pagiel, the son of Okran. From Gad, Eliazap, the son of Dewel. From Naphtali, Ahira, the son of Enan. So, ano ang sasagutin natin ang katanungan dito mga kapatid? Ano ang kino-complain? Ano po? Ano ang reklamo ng mga Israelites, no? Ano ba ang nirereklamo nila? Okay, so sang-ayon sa pagpapatuloy ng ating lesson, the Israelites crave the meat and cucumbers, the melons, the leeks, the onions, the garlic of Egypt, mga kapatid. So yun po ang patuloy nilang kino-complain, o nagrereklamo sila dahil sa pagkain. So dito mga kapatid, makikita natin dito na talagang makikita natin dito mga kapatid kung ano yung pinagmulan ng rebellion, ano po? Pinagmulan ng rebellion, or kung bakit ang mga Israelita ay restless sila. Hindi sila mapakali. Okay? So, ang kanilang tanong, ang sinasabi dito, who will give us meat to eat? No? We remember the fish which we ate freely in Egypt. Okay? And sabi dyan, the cucumbers, the melons, the leeks, the onions, the garlic, but now our whole being is dried up. There is, ang sabi dyan, our whole being is dried up. There is nothing at all except this manna before our eyes. Okay? At yun po mismo ang sinasabi sa verses 4 to 6. And with you there shall be a man from every tribe, each one the head of his father's house. These are the names of the men who shall stand with you. From Reuben, Elizur, the son of Shedeur. From Simon's Shelumiel. Okay? Hindi pala mga kapatid, yun po ang verse 1. Pero ang sinasabi po dito, Numbers 11 verse 4 to 6. Ang sabi dyan, and the mixed multitude that was among them fell a lusting, and the children of Israel also wept again and said, who shall give us flesh to eat? We remember the flesh which we did eat in Egypt freely. Yun, so the cucumbers, the melons, di ba? So lahat ng yan mga kapatid na sinasabi, yung nabasa na natin kanina, but now our soul is dried up. There is nothing at all beside this manna before our eyes. So they also must have suffered from severe selective memory when they were remembered the food and forgot the slavery and unbelievable hardship. So compared to Exodus. Ano po ang sinasabi sa sa Exodus, mga kapatid. Okay? Exodus chapter 1. So yun po, kung ating mabasa yung Exodus chapter 1, ay makikita natin dito yung sinasabi dito na um, compared to the statement, mga kapatid, that they also must have suffered from severe selective memory when they remembered the food and forgot the slavery, an unbelievable hardship unbelievable hardship. So this is compared to Exodus chapter 1. So ang sabi dyan, sa pagpapatuloy ng ating pagbabasa, they had been fed by God's manna for more than a year, yet they felt restless and wanted something else. Even Moses was affected. Trying to lead a group of restless people is not easy. But Moses knew whom to return. Yun ang kagandahan dyan. At siya din ay nagpahayag ng kanyang salubin sa ating Panginoong Diyos. Ang sabi niya, why have you afflicted your servant? And why have I not found favor in your sight, that you have laid the burden of all these people on me? So, ano po ang naging tanong, mga kapatid, ng ating Panginoong Diyos? How God respond the complaints of these people. Kaya kung ating babasahin, mga kapatid, ang pagpapatuloy ng talata from 16 to 33, ang sabi diyan, so the Lord said to Moses, gather to me 70 men of the elders of Israel, whom you know to be the elders of the people and officers over them. Bring them to me. Bring them to the tabernacle of meeting, that they may stand there with you. Ano pa? Then I will come down and talk to you with you, and talk with you there. I will take the spirit that is upon you and will put the same upon them, and they shall bear the burden of the people with you, that you may not bear it yourself alone. Then you shall say to the people, consecrate yourselves for tomorrow, and you shall eat meat, for you have wept in the hearing of the Lord, saying, who will give us meat to eat? For it was well with us in Egypt. Therefore, the Lord will give you meat, and you shall eat. You shall eat not 1 day, nor 2 days, nor 5 days, nor 10 days, nor 20 days, but for the whole month, until it comes out of your nostrils and becomes loathsome to you, because you have despised the Lord who is among you, and have wept before him, saying, why did we ever come up out of Egypt? And Moses said, the people whom I am among are 600,000 men on foot, yet you have said, I will give them meat, that they may eat for a whole month. Shall flocks and herds be slaughtered for them, to provide enough for them? Or shall all the fish of the sea be gathered together for them, to provide enough for them? And the Lord said to Moses, has the Lord's arm been shortened? Now you shall see whether what I say will happen to you or not. So Moses went out and told the people the words of the Lord, and he gathered the 70 men of the elders of the people and placed them around the tabernacle. Then the Lord came down in the cloud and spoke to him, and took the spirit that was upon him, and placed the same upon the 70 elders. And it happened, when the spirit rested upon them, that they prophesied, although they never did so again. But 2 men had remained in the camp. The name of one was Eldad, and the name of the other Medad. And the spirit rested upon them. Now they were among those listed, but who had not gone out to the tabernacle, yet they prophesied in the camp. And a young man ran and told Moses and said, Eldad and Medad are prophesying in the camp. So Joshua the son of Nun, Moses' assistant, one of his choice men, answered and said, Moses, my Lord, forbid them. Then Moses said to him, are you zealous for my sake? Oh, that all the Lord's people were prophets, and that the Lord would put his spirit upon them. And Moses returned to the camp, he and the elders of Israel. Now a wind went out from the Lord, and it brought quail from the sea, and left them fluttering near the camp, about a day's journey on this side, and about a day's journey on the other side, all around the camp, and about 2 cubits above the surface of the ground. And the people stayed up all that day, all night, and all the next day, and gathered the quail. He who gathered less gathered 10 homers, and they spread them out for themselves all around the camp. But while the meat was still between their teeth, before it was chewed, the wrath of the Lord was aroused against the people, and the Lord struck the people with a very great plague. So yun po mga kapatid ang nangyari dyan sa istorya mga kapatid. No? God is not deaf to our needs. Yun ang sinasabi ng lesson mga kapatid. When we feel restless, in Israel's case, He gave them quail to satisfy their hunger for meat. But it wasn't really the meat Israel wanted. When we are unhappy and restless and angry, what we are angry about is often just the detonator, not the cause of the conflict. We fight because there is something deeper amiss, affecting our underlying relationship. Israel rebelled against God's leading, something that we all have to be careful about, no matter our immediate situation and context, for it's easier to do than we think. So why is it easy to remember the past as better than it really was? So yun po mga kapatid ang tanong sa ating lesson, no? Why is it easy to remember the past as better than it really was? So dito natin makikita mga kapatid, no, ang pinaka ano ng ating lesson, na bakit sila ay naging restless. Bakit mga kapatid ang mga Israelita noong unang panahon ay naging restless in the wilderness? Okay? Nagsimula, ang sabi nga dyan sa talata mga kapatid, nagsimula, yet their first stop following their departure from Sinai finds them complaining. At ano ang kanilang kinocomplain mga kapatid? Walang iba kundi ang sabi nga dyan sa ating lesson, okay? We fight, sabi dito mga kapatid sa last statement ng lesson, we fight because there is something deeper amiss, affecting our underlying relationships. Israel rebelled against God's leading, something that we all have to be careful about, no matter our immediate situation and context, for it's easier to do than we think. Kaya mga kapatid, no, minsan sa ating paglalakbay sa mundong ito, minsan mga kapatid, tayong lahat ay hindi masaya. Tayong lahat ay hindi mapayapang ating paglalakbay. Sapagkat merong mga bagay mga kapatid na parang hindi tayo nakokontento. I really like what Philippians, according to the letter of Paul to the Philippians, Philippians chapter 4 verse, ano nga yung sinasabi niya sa Biblia? Philippians chapter 4 verse 13 mga kapatid. Basahin po natin ang sinasabi sa Biblia in the New Testament. Ang sabi dito ni Apostol Pablo, Philippians, okay, chapter 4 verse 13. Ang sabi dito, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So dito mga kapatid, I think this is the context of this passage mga kapatid connects to that of our lesson, restless in the wilderness. Why is it that sometimes, no, tayong lahat ay hindi tayo mapakali? Why is it that sometimes mga kapatid, hindi lang sometimes probably, but oftentimes or most of the times mga kapatid, na tayong lahat ay hindi mapakali sa ating buhay, kumbaga lahat ay kulang pa? It is because probably mga kapatid, we called it contentedness. Ano po? Kasi ang context na sinasabi dito ng Apostol Pablo mga kapatid, yung sabi dito na I know how to be abased, verse 12, and I know how to abound. Everywhere and all things I have learned both to be full and to be hungry, both to be abound and to suffer need. And so in verse 13 ang sabi diyan, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Ibig sabihin mga kapatid na magagawa natin, no, ang lahat ng mga bagay not because the very context of this passage is that our status in life, ano, kung tayong lahat ay may kulang sa ating buhay mga kapatid, merong ibig sabihin sa kasalatan, yung pang Tagalog diyan, kasalatan at sa kasaganaan. Ano po? Tayong lahat magagawa natin. Okay? Magagawa nating manatiling masaya at nabubuhay sa mundong ito sa pamamagitan ng ating Panginoong Kristo na nagpapalakas sa atin. That's the real context mga kapatid. So, the issue here is that, okay, the real issue dito mga kapatid ay walang iba kundi ang relationship natin sa ating Panginoong Diyos. So, why is it that Israel of all, Israel became a restless in the wilderness? It is because mga kapatid, sila po ay actually ang kanilang na-miss na nag-lack sila mga kapatid, nagkulang sila sa kanilang relasyon sa ating Panginoong Diyos. Amidst of ang sinasabi dito mga kapatid, no? Amidst of the sinasabi sa lesson natin? Sabi dito, they had been counted and organized. They had witnessed incredible displays of divine favor and clear signs of God's presence. Pero ang nangyari mga kapatid, wala pa ring relasyon sa ating Panginoon Diyos. Alam niyo mga kapatid, ang aking reflection sa ating lesson. Okay po? Kahit na ikaw ay tambakan ng mga milagro, performance ng miracle mula sa ating Panginoong Diyos, pagka ikaw ay hindi kontento at wala kang relasyon sa ating Panginoong Diyos mga kapatid, walang mangyayari. No? For me, the very important lesson here, para tayong lahat ay magkaroon ng kapahingahan sa ating Panginoong Diyos, is to have a relationship with God mga kapatid. Ano man ang mangyari sa buhay natin, no? Tayo man ay ganito lang ang status o kalagayan sa buhay natin. Kung meron tayong sapat na relasyon sa ating Panginoong Diyos, matutunan po natin mga kapatid na tayong lahat ay makontento sa buhay natin. At matutunan po natin na meron tayong kapayapaan at kapahingahan sa ating Panginoong Kristo. It's about the relationship mga kapatid. And for me, restless in the wilderness, why they became restless mga kapatid, it is because for me, they lack intimate relationship with God amidst of the wonders and signs that God showed to them, displayed to them mga kapatid. Kung walang relasyon sa ating Panginoong Diyos, ang mangyayari ay puro complaint. So, yun din mga kapatid ang mangyayari sa bawat isa sa atin. If we have this kind of attitude, kung wala tayong relasyon sa ating Panginoong Diyos, mga kapatid, ang mangyayari sa atin, puro tayo complain sa ating Panginoong Diyos. Kung panahon na tayong lahat ay medyo nahihirapan, at kung panahon na ang ating bulsa ay wala ng laman, mga kapatid, we begin complaining. We even complain, mga kapatid, yung ating kabutihan, no? Panginoon, nagtatights naman ako, Panginoon ay perfect naman ako sa aking gawain sa iglesia. Bakit nararanasan ko ang kahirapan? We begin complaining, mga kapatid, sa ating Panginoong Diyos. And if we do that, it is only a manifestation that we lack relationship sa ating pong Panginoong Diyos. And so for me, mga kapatid, the lesson that I got from this day, mga kapatid, restless in the wilderness, the only way that we can find rest in Jesus Christ is to have a good relationship with Him. And so, yun po mga kapatid, ang kabuuan ng ating lesson. Unfortunately, wala pa pong nag-comment sa atin, sa ating comment section. Kung meron kayong mga katanungan, clarification, sana mga kapatid, ay pwede po ninyong i-share sa gabi ito. However, I would like to thank you for your attendance, mga kapatid, na kayo po ay nakinabang at nanood ng ating lesson sa gabi ito. And so, just before we close this program, tayo pong lahat mga kapatid ay manalangin. Dakila po namin Diyos, muli po kami ay nagpapasalamat sa inyo dahil sa inyong patnubay sa bawat isa sa amin, na inyo pong ginabayan kami sa aming pag-aaral ng lesson. At patuloy po, Panginoon, na tulungan kami na kami po ay maging na matuto na magtiis sa kung ano yung status ng aming pamumuhay. At tulungan kami, Panginoon, na maging kontento sa aming buhay. At tulungan kami, Panginoon, na magkaroon kami ng relasyon sa inyo, na mahigpit na relasyon sa inyo, na anuman ang mangyari sa aming buhay, kami po ay patuloy na makaranas ng kapayapaan, makaranas ng kapahingahan sa pamagitan ng aming Panginoon Kristo na nagpapalakas sa bawat isa sa amin. Pagpalain niyo po, Panginoon, ang bawat isa na nakikinig at nanonood ng programang ito. Nawa po ang iyong bendisyon ang kanilang maranasan, at samantalang kami po ay magpapahinga sa gabing ito, amin pong maranasan dakilang Diyos ang kapayapaan sa aming pagtulog. Ito lamang ang hinihiling sa inyo, kalakip ng pagpapatawad sa aming pagkukulang at pagkakasala, sa pangalan ng Panginoong Hesus. Amen. Okay po mga kapatid, so once again, ako po ay nagpapasalamat sa inyong participation sa ating pong programang Get and Go. We get information and we go to share the good news to other people. And this is still your servant, Pastor Ken, saying Jesus Christ must be exalted. Kita-kita tayo bukas mga kapatid sa panibagong episode ng ating pag-aaral ng lesson. Ganun din bukas mga kapatid, huwag niyong kaligtaan ang ating morning devotional. At God bless po sa inyong lahat.
I serve a risen Savior, He's in the world today. I know that He is living, whatever man may say. I see His hand of mercy, I hear His voice of cheer, and just the time I need Him is always near. He lives, Christ Jesus lives today. He walks with me and talks with me along life's narrow way. He lives, salvation to impart. You ask me how I know He lives within my heart. I know that He is leading through all the stormy blast. The day of His appearing will come at last. He lives, Christ Jesus lives today. He walks with me and talks with me along life's narrow way. He lives, salvation to impart. You ask me how I know He lives within my heart. Rejoice, rejoice, O Christian, lift up your voice and sing eternal hallelujahs to Jesus Christ the King, the hope of all who seek Him, the help of all who find. None other is so loving, so good and kind. He lives, Christ Jesus lives today. He walks with me and talks with me along life's narrow way. He lives, salvation to impart.